All right, everybody. I think we're just going to wait for the live stream to start, right, Mara? All right, we're good to go. Well, good evening, everybody. Early evening. I'm going to call this meeting to order for the Brawley City Council and successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency. Regular meeting agenda for July 18th at 6 p.m. here at the City Council chambers. And if we can have the roll call, please.
Yeah, the minutes will reflect that all the council members are present.
Okay, thank you very much. The invocation by Council Member Luke Hamby, please.
Okay, let's all stand. Let's bow our heads and pray. Dear God, our Heavenly Father, I'm so thankful to you tonight for your many blessings. We thank you for your hand of protection that's upon our city. We thank you for each person that works for the city of Brawley, for each person that lives in the city of Brawley. We ask that you would keep your hand of protection upon us, help us to get through this hot summer. And I'd like to do something tonight that I don't normally do, but I feel it on my heart, God, that I should pray for some specific issues that the city of Brawley faces. And there are many, but among those two that we are trying to come up with solutions for, and I ask for your wisdom and your guidance and innovation to face and fight the problems of drugs within our city that have made their home here, as well as other places in the valley. We ask that you would just give us wisdom and strength to fight that battle. We ask that you would give our safety services protection to fight that battle. We thank you for each one of them that put their lives on the line each day for us. We also ask tonight, God, for the issue of homelessness in our town. We know that a lot of that is directly related to mental health and substance abuse. And we ask, God, for guidance and for innovation in this area as well, that we could give help where it's needed, the right kind of help without hurting, and that it would bring up the quality of life not only for those who are in that situation of homelessness, but also the quality of life for everyone else in our city. We thank you so much for your blessings. We ask again for your wisdom and for your guidance tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Mr. Lloyd Miller, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Councilmember Hamby.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you all very much. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. There was an amendment that was filed as well. So is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I'll make a motion to approve as written with the addendum.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public appearances and comments not to exceed 4 minutes. This is a time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you. When you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. You're not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council. Is there anyone here who would like to make a public comment on any item not appearing on the agenda? All right. Mr. Umpro, come on. There is. All right.
To the mayor, city council, city manager, and city attorney. My name is Carol Goss, and in reference to the noise ordinance, we had a meeting on July the 11th, 2023 to discuss the noise ordinance. But we have not solved the problem as of date. Matter still pending. 7 months, I'm sorry. Would like to thank the council members, Councilman Donnie Warden, Councilman Ramon Castro, and City Manager for discussing the issue with us. Special thanks to Councilman Gil Robala. Councilmen are elected by the people, You are elected because we feel that you are capable of taking care of the problems of the city. Councilmen should be able to work together to get the job done. Please, whenever a problem should arise among the members, it should be discussed in a closed session, not spoken in public, not professional. I believe each of you know the golden rule: do unto others as you wish them to do unto you. In my closing remarks, please learn to work together. Every councilman is important to get the job done. I pray God's blessing upon each of you. We are still waiting. Respectively submitted, Carol Goss.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else who'd like to make a public comment? I believe Ms. Brombrano. Come on.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and members of the community. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Robert Amparano, and I am a member of the Imperial Valley 911 Stair Climb Committee here in Imperial Valley. And we are a committee that represents the firefighter community, law enforcement, EMS, and public and private organizations with the mission of ensuring that Imperial Valley never forgets that tragic event that took place on September 11th of 2001. We do this by hosting a memorial stair climb that honors and pays tribute to the 343 firefighters, the 60 law enforcement personnel, and 10 emergency medical personnel who made the ultimate sacrifice that Tuesday morning in 2001. So this year's event marks the 22nd anniversary for September 11th, and the Imperial Valley, we will be hosting our 10th annual. So this is 10 years for us, 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb event at the Imperial Valley Fairgrounds on Saturday, September 9th, 2023. Our ceremony will begin at 7:45, followed by a stair climb. So our stair climb is a way for the community to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice on that day, September 11th, 2001. Each participant climbs or walks the equivalent to 110 stories of the World Trade Center, carrying the name or photo of a fallen hero that symbolically complete their climb for that day. And I know the question always comes up that we cannot, I might not be able to do 110 stairs, but we open up the track so we can actually walk around the track. So there's that side of it. And so what I'd like to do is play you guys a video from last year's event, which is a little bit different. Where are we at? There we go. We had to do something a little bit different. So.
Wrong or right, I give my life. This place called USA. There's no other place that I'd rather live. Love my wife and teach my kids about the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm sick and tired of people putting it down. If you don't like it here, get the heck out of town. Go and find somewhere you love, that's fine with me. 'Cause we don't need people riding the fence. You're either riding with us or you're riding with them. Make up your mind which side you stand. If you ask me, this whole world is gone to hell. I speak the truth, but these days the truth will gonna sell. I bleed red, white, and blue in my veins. You just can't change. Wrong or right, I give my life. This place called USA. Wrong or right, I give my life. This place called USA. Wrong or right, I give my life. This place called USA.
So, thank you guys for allowing me the time to present the video. As you can see, that event was a little bit different. It was indoors. Just happened that day we had a major storm that came in, and so we had to change everything and go indoors. So hopefully this year we can go back outside, do the stairs, and open up the track where everybody can partake and join. I do want to let City of Brawley and those watching that this is a family event, and it's for everybody to attend. We are a community. We all come together under one roof at that point in time, and we're all there for a reason. Every year, we also make a choice as a committee. We have to choose somebody to do our invocation. This year, we chose the City of Brawley Police Department to do our invocation for the event. So we do look forward to City of Brawley.
Chief
Where you
Duran.
go? So I thought I saw Chief Duran here, but
He's back.
there he is. There he is.
He's undercover.
We appreciate your help with the invocation. So we look forward to the City of Brawley being represented there. So with that, let me finish up my little thing here. So we have registration. Our early registration is now open, and there is a cost, and I think I left it here, is $25 through September 8th. On-site registration will be available that day. What you also get is you get a T-shirt. Every year, one of the things that we do is we change up the shirts. So there is something different. You're not going to get the same shirt every year. So we put out a contest, and whoever gives us the best drawing, it gets voted on and it goes on the shirt, and that's what comes out that year. So we appreciate it to those that do help us. Registration can be completed by going on to www.iv911.org. We do have sponsorship opportunities. The sponsorship opportunities do actually have a significance also, the 343 for the firefighters that were lost, 413, which is the total number of firefighters, law enforcement, and EMS personnel, 9/11 for the date, and 2001 for the year. Those are all sponsorship opportunities, and they all have something different. The event proceeds, the funds that are raised at this event will go to the Imperial Valley 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb. We are now a 501c3. And we provide charitable contributions to local firefighters' families, promote scholarship opportunities for members of the community, and will assist in the development of the IV 9/11 Memorial at the fairgrounds. So we are in the process of building a memorial here locally in our valley where we can all go and say, I remember this day, I know what happened, and so that we never forget. So with that, any questions, for sponsorship or vendor opportunities? We also have vendor opportunities for those that would like to come out. I can reach out to one of my counterparts. They're sitting out here.
You'd like to introduce him, yeah? Your group? Would you like to
Yeah,
introduce your
absolutely.
group? Yeah, please.
So we have Edgar Quiñones, we have Carlos Quitones, and we have our Madam President, Tiffany Macias. So I can leave the information so we can reach out. So if any questions you guys have for me, I'd really like to see everybody there. I know Lloyd said he's never gone. Really like to be there. I'd like to see you there. Got to try it. Got to try it. It's different when you have somebody's picture and you read their bio, and when you're trying to finish up that climb, that walk for them, it takes you back a little bit, and kind of chokes you up. And it's a good event that we have here for the community. One of the things that people say, it's hot in September. Absolutely. But we all know that our first responders don't stop. Whether it's hot, cold, windy, rain, we keep going. So should we. So thank you guys very much for your time, and
Thank you.
I'll stand for any questions.
No, we appreciate you coming over here and presenting, and you've been here in the past. We appreciate you and the group that puts it together and all those that participate, so thank you. I participated in the past. I haven't most recently, but I likely will this time, so.
Let's do it this year.
I appreciate it, yeah.
I took Ernie a few years ago, Ernie Mariscal.
Yeah.
It was a challenge between Marines and soldiers, and
Absolutely.
they almost died on me. Just FYI.
And you know, that is perfectly fair. There is a lot of organizations that challenge other organizations. I see there's Energy Source. I know there's a couple other energy companies that are coming out that might be participating.
Who's got the power, right?
Exactly. There's, we get union groups, we get, nonprofit groups, we get all kinds of different groups that come out to participate. So, make it a challenge.
And you're here representing this group,
Yes,
the
sir.
IID, the City Council, ICTC, and, everything else. So, I mean, you're encompassed.
Well-rounded.
There you go.
Literally,
Boy Scout.
well-rounded.
And the Boy Scout.
Yeah. So we have Boy Scouts in there. Boy Scouts helps us out every year. They're a big part of our event. So we try to get everybody involved. So.
No, we thank you very much.
No,
We appreciate it. And you have left the information. I know we've participated in the past. So
And it's really gotten year after year bigger and bigger, even though
Right.
I as mentioned, you guys have attended in the past. I've been fully harassed for not being there totally.
But-
But Brawley did, enter into the sponsorship a little bit, and I know we're well represented. Even the video showed that. So I don't think any of that not only is going to stop, but I will do everything I can. I just checked the dates on a Monday, right? And so we'll make it happen. But thank you, Mr. Amparano, and really the whole board and you guys. It would not be what it is if it weren't for what you guys do and being here tonight and going to all the cities, all the different groups that you're facing. You guys have really have made this special. So thank you for what you guys have done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it very much.
And if anybody in the public wants information, definitely let us know. Thank you.
Cool. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. All right. Thanks again. Appreciate the information.
It was excellent.
So we're gonna skip past B real quick, and we're gonna go to the presentation of Firefighter Water Polo Event Trophy presented by Fire Chief Mike York, Brawley City Fire Department, and we're gonna go back to Energy Sources right after that.
Good evening, council members, city staff, and public. Mike York, Fire Chief. It's my honor and privilege to be here tonight presenting this. So just a little bit of history. Many years ago, in a simpler time, there existed a little game amongst all the departments in the valley. And that game consisted of a painted fire hydrant that you would go and try to steal from other fire departments. When I first got hired, it was department policy that Monday through Friday, business hours, all the doors had to be open, so our departments were a little more open. Now it's exact opposite. We have to keep our stations closed for security reasons. So throughout the year, firefighters would travel to other departments and attempt to locate the hydrant and take it without the host department being aware of it. If you were caught, you were required to pay up and whatever beverage the host agency requested. But every 4th of July in the city of Calapat, there was a water polo event. That was the grand reset. And whoever possessed the hydrant had to bring it to the water polo event, presented, and the winner of the water polo event got to take it home for a certain period of time, and then the game restarted. Now, I don't know if that game is going to continue, but after many, many years, well over a decade of hiatus, the city of Calapat once again on their 4th of July event, July 2nd this year, hosted water polo. Water polo is a game where a cable is strung up at a height above the field, and a barrel, or in this case an empty keg, is attached to it, and it's moved back and forth by firefighters on opposing sides using hose streams. It's kind of reverse tug of war using water. And at the base of this, it's a very fun game. It's hot. It's nice to get wet and everything. But the base of this game, it's to win, you have to position your hose. You have to work as a team. You have to have good control of your nozzle and the stream you're spraying. It's very much firemanship at the base of it. And I'm very proud to present that this year, 3 members of the Brawley Fire Department, Deputy Chief Juan Rodello, Firefighter Andrew Romo, and Reserve Firefighter Daniel Rivera, went and participated. They competed against 3 other departments, which is the Imperial County Fire Department, the Calapat Fire Department host agency, and the Holtville Fire Department. And they came away the winners.
All right.
Unfortunately, due to a previous engagement, Deputy Chief Rodella was not here. There is also, much more portable, a perpetual trophy that now is encompassing, of course. There was some scheduling conflicts, and it went down to get etched with our name for perpetuity. So, in lieu of bringing the trophy, these strong guys decided to bring in the hydrant, which is now going to reside in our department for a length to be determined. But, gentlemen,
Yeah.
Firefighter Romo.
I'm not even sure what to say right now, but it was a blast, and it was
Literally, right? A blast.
literally a blast.
Yeah.
And it was a huge honor to represent our department and to bring it back home for us. So
Great work, brother. Great work.
This is Reserve Firefighter Daniel Rivera. He actually just started with us several months ago.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it was a pretty fun game, and it was pretty interesting, and I enjoyed working with Romo and Rodella.
Fantastic. Well, great job, everybody. We're very proud of you and good work. And let's keep that spirit alive. I remember seeing it when I was, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years old, and it took place across from the football field. I remember it then, and so that was a long, long time ago. And I hadn't really seen it after that,
We were trying to remember the date the last year was actually held, and we couldn't pin it down, but I think it was somewhere around 2007 or 8 was the last time that we actually had it. And I got to participate as a rookie firefighter, and you mentioned a blast. The hose streams are supposed to be directed at the barrel, but they occasionally go lower. It's competitive. But anyways, there's our trophy.
And it's an empty keg that you're pushing.
It is empty.
How does the keg get empty is what I want to know.
I'm not sure. We can discuss later. But anyways, with the council and city manager's permission, we'll go ahead and leave that here for the remainder of the meeting. It's a little heavy, and we want to brag a little bit. So
perfect.
We wanted Imperial County to see that. That's all. No.
So thank you very much. And once again, congratulations to these fine gentlemen.
Congratulations. Nice work.
That's cool.
All right.
You don't have to leave yet.
Yeah, there you go.
thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is a presentation by Energy Source Minerals, Lithium Delivered. It's the presentation presented by Vincent J. Signorati, Vice President, Government Relations for Energy Source Minerals. Mr. Signorati.
Good evening, City Council members of the community. First off, I want to thank you all for inviting us out here this evening to talk about lithium. I want to thank also Rom, who invited us out here to speak about lithium, Project Atlas, our Iliad technology, and then the community benefits. And also want to introduce myself as the Community Affairs Liaison for Energy Source Minerals. Some of you may have recognized me in a previous capacity. I will share a little bit, 2-second brief about myself. Valley resident from El Centro. I currently serve as the Board of Trustee for the Central Union High School District, and in a previous role of mine, I came from IVC. And so now today I'm really excited to be part of the Energy Source Minerals team, and even more excited to introduce Vince Signorati, our Vice President of Governmental Relations.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm sure most of you know him.
Back there.
No. Ma'am, can you repeat your name for the record? I don't think we caught it.
Yes, Elizabeth Espinoza.
Elizabeth Espinosa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if I do speak too fast, please let me know. I get very excited. All right, so on a global perspective, looking at these stars, you'll find that global lithium brine resources are located all over the world. What we're finding, and what I think we've all been saying, is that Imperial County is the leading forefront of the global lithium extraction market. What does that mean? Is I think that means there's a lot of eyes on us as the Imperial Valley. And so with that, it's located around the Salton Sea area, and I'm going to show a map of where that's located. But something that I'm even more excited to share about is that Energy Source, the technology is out there proving that this is possible, and I think this is really cool to talk about. So Project Atlas is located, those of you who are familiar with the Featherstone plant, and Vince, please correct me if I'm wrong on some topics, located east of the Salton Sea by the Featherstone plant. That's where Project Atlas will be located. And Project Atlas is a project dedicated to the lithium production from geothermal brine. The Iliad technology that we will talk about supports the Atlas project. And I know we'll hear Iliad and Atlas quite a bit, and even in the future we'll hear Iliad and Atlas quite a bit. For me and for the community, understanding Iliad supports the Atlas project in lithium extraction, and I think that's awesome. Next slide. And then I'm going to hand it over to Vince to speak about the geothermal process and a little bit about the Iliad technology.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Nice to be here. Mr. Mayor and council members, thanks for having us. So I think most of us in this room might have a understanding of what's going on out near the Salton Sea. The Salton Sea is a unique geothermal resource, unique anywhere else in the world. It is a fluid-dominated resource. And so what that means is that we drill wells anywhere from 1.5 miles to as deep as 11,000 feet in the case of energy source. We drill into a sandstone formation, which is both porous and permeable. So that means that this superheated fluid can move around in that large geothermal reservoir. It's a sandstone reservoir, so it's got a lot of vertical permeability. We bring that superheated fluid to the surface. It begins to flash as it comes up through the wellbore because we're reducing the pressure and reducing the temperature. So we bring this superheated brine anywhere from 500 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. We rapidly vaporize it in a series of processes on the surface. The same thing that happens when you're taking a shower, water's under pressure, it's hot, steam goes out a vent, the water goes down a drain. We do that at very high pressure and very high steam temperatures. We take the steam, we clean it, we deliver it to a turbine, and we generate electricity. We have to process what brine doesn't flash to steam before we inject it back into the ground. So it's a completely closed system. We bring up the superheated fluid, we take the thermal value, convert it to mechanical value, process the brine, and put it back into the ground. So like I said, completely closed system. So Iliad is going to change that. So the way Iliad is going to function is it's going to take the brine before it goes to an injection well. So we're going to divert that liquid that is about 230 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's still very, very hot, still has a very high degree concentration of dissolved minerals. And we're going to deliver it to our Iliad technology. There, we keep it for about 12 hours. So the residence time on the Iliad site is about 12 hours. And it's adjacent to the Featherstone power plant. And during that time, we will harvest over 94% of the lithium from this brine. The lithium itself is about 260 parts per million, so there's not a lot of it, but the Iliad technology allows us to get over 90%, usually around 94 with the Salton Sea brines. From our plant, our product, which we expect to be 20,000 metric tons per year beginning in early 2026 is when we'll be full commercial operation. 20,000 metric tons of lithium hydroxide monohydrate, which is a battery spec lithium, goes straight to a cathode manufacturer and straight into EVs. So electric vehicles are, by 2030, going to constitute 50% of new car sales in this country. So they're going to need a lot of lithium. From our technology, from the lithium, from the Iliad platform, it goes back to the power plant and is injected back into the ground, much cleaner and at a lower temperature. So that is the Iliad technology. I've simplified it, but it's something that is proven at the Salton Sea. We've been operating our pilot unit for over 7.5 years. Third-party verification. We've licensed the technology to other businesses in the minerals business, not in the geothermal business necessarily. The geothermal lithium is only going to happen at the Salton Sea. But lithium brines are found all over the world. And so this Iliad technology is deployable and dispatchable. So I think I am going to turn it back over to, do you want me to do this one? You got it. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so it's just a couple of the benefits to our process when compared to any other lithium production anywhere else in the world. CO2, much lower than any comparable technology. Water use, much lower than any other technology deployed anywhere else on the planet. And by the way, our water is 80% recycled. So we're going to reuse it and keep the water consumption as low as possible. And then the land footprint, you can see Chilean brine, they're called salars in South America, and they can cover 100 square miles. Western Australia and European hard rock, 10,000, 20,000 acres of open pit mine. Project Atlas, 40 acres. You can see the comparison there. So it's kind of an impressive comparison. Now I'll turn it back to Elizabeth.
We all see why we needed Vince to explain all of that. But wrapping up with what Project Atlas is the most sustainable source of lithium. As Vince said, this is a lot of proven technology, and quite honestly, hearing and listening to what this vision and mission of what Project Atlas and how their vision for lithium extraction and even beyond lithium has been really exciting for me coming on board. And so looking at how it's going to be the most sustainable source, it looks like some bolded words, but quite honestly, looking at their numbers and looking at what's happening out there in the world compared to us, wow. And so some Atlas key process features. Vince did touch on a lot of them. The just hours to process, 90% lithium recovery rates, a renewable steam and energy for processing. Something that I thought was noted was the no weather dependency, so it can operate for 24 hours a day. I thought that was really neat, cool, learning more about this renewable industry. Whoa. And then going back to that closed loop system, I don't think that's and looking into my research, that doesn't look as common. And so learning more about how it's a closed loop and friendly it is, even better. And so we're tying it back to the benefits for everyone in Imperial County. Over 30 years of the project's operation, so this is Project Atlas, for $720 million in tax revenue. And so with that, that'll be $96 million to the Salton Sea improvement. And then you'll see some really pretty numbers right there, the 220 total jobs. So we're looking at 70 direct and then about 130 indirect or so, if I got my math right. $18 million a year, 24 in local taxes, 2.5 in local infrastructure investment. And so that's a benefit that we see going back to the Imperial County. And with that, also important to note that it's a priority of Energy Source to hire local, in that they are working with the #1 community college in the nation, Imperial Valley College. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
You're 100% correct.
Huh?
You're 100% correct on that.
Thank you. But no, really, yes, working with the college and working with the college on their curriculum. Energy Source has been an active partner with them, looking at the curriculum. They will also be receiving some certificates that are industry approved, meaning that they will be receiving a certificate from the college going through that program, also receiving a certificate away from the college, but during the program. And so with that, with us, they'll also be receiving career advancement opportunities, professional development in that way. And so that's a commitment from Energy Source to hire local, to prioritize hiring local, and working with our local partners in that. And I believe that is my last slide. Unless Vince would like to touch on something that I might have missed.
Okay. Thank you, absolutely.
And again, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Sorry, I know it's under public comment. We're really not supposed to ask much, but anyone who's interested, first off, 220 jobs, sort of assuming that as a result of what you're doing, there will be a lot more jobs created, construction and otherwise. Anyone who's interested in applying for work with you guys or with any of the other companies, where can they find more information on this? And have you filled your so 220 jobs is what you're expecting to create?
I think 70, you said, right? 70 you would, and then
70 direct jobs.
Direct jobs.
All right, okay. All right, Mrs. So anyone interested, where would they apply?
Construction jobs quite different. The first 6 months, and we expect to break ground sometime this fall, we hope, fingers crossed. Construction will really take off after about the first 6 months of site prep. That's when we'll ramp up to about 300 men and women on the site full-time. Peak employment will be somewhere between 500 and 600 men and women on site during construction.
Where you guys, if they're interested in applying to work with you guys.
So if they're interested in applying to work in an energy source, by all means, please visit the website, but I will also leave my contact information if that information is not readily available. But just for the record, too, my email is espinoza@esminerals.com.
Any further questions? Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. All right, thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're moving on to the consent agenda. Items are approved by one motion. Council members, members of the public may request that consent items be considered separately at time determined by the mayor. Is there a motion to approve the consent as written?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. Next item is the city manager's report. That's number 4.
Thank you. Oops. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mayor. Beginning the new fiscal year, July 1st, staff figured we'd try something a little different, a little new for this upcoming year. And every month we'd like to present the birthday boys and girls and wish everybody a happy birthday for that month on this, that works for us. And as you can see, right there at the top, we have a birthday council member this month, and we have 17 total. So happy birthday to all the folks in July, and we'll be doing this monthly.
Fantastic. That's great. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. York, your birthday boy.
Yeah, he's
not today, but yeah.
Chief York is up there. You know.
Yeah.
When they were here, we sang happy birthday.
We did. Yeah, absolutely. I say we sing it now. We have 2 birthdays right now. Join me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chief York and Lulu and Councilmember Henry. Happy birthday to you. All right. Happy birthday. And to everyone else, of course, you know.
Yeah. Yes. And then one other public service announcement. The fire department's going to be conducting a training exercise Wednesday, July 26th at the river bottom near Pat Williams Park, a little burning training exercise, right, Chief York? And on that day, Pat Williams will be closed, and the kickoff to start the fires around 7 a.m. Is that correct? Yes. So, and we'll be posting on social media to give everyone the heads up, especially in that area. So,
all right, thank you. Well, is that your report?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on. Regular business discussion to provide city staff with direction and recommendations on how to proceed moving forward in the formation of a community improvement committee. Item tabled from June 20th, 23 council meeting, presented by Council Member Mayor Pro Tem Ramon Castro.
All right, so as you guys remember, we postponed it, well, tabled it last June 20th because, we just had such a long meeting, and I felt that as tired as we weren't going to give us necessary attention, and I feel that it's important. Several years ago, obviously, we completed our project, and we've discussed this several times, and it took a community effort. I think the city had, about $15,000 or $20,000 as far as extra revenue for material, and we were able to pull together different resources, different individuals from different trades, from someone drawing up the blueprints. I think actually that was the engineering department, to masons, iron workers. I did all the electrical and a few other items. Parks and Recs helped with the finishing of the the restrooms. So it was a pretty neat project, and I've been kicking this idea around for a while. And I've talked to several folks in the community and see who would be interested. And it seems to be like there are people who are interested. They just need, I guess, a mechanism for it. So we can provide a form of making it happen here. Obviously, this group would be in charge of, listening to ideas from the community, working with the city, see what funds are available for material, or if not, where can we pull in, donated materials, organize, basically like a project manager. The chair would be the project manager, and task everyone with duties and bring in the volunteer labor. I think that this would it's a great service to the community. Look, we provide a lot, I think, for this town, but we need a little bit more, and anything that can provide some beautification and improve the quality of life of our folks here, I think that we should absolutely do it. And that restroom there, as small and I don't feel like it's not that big of a deal, but if you guys recall, that restroom, that park there was hosting the young girls softball tournaments, and we were putting up porta potties for the girls to use during the tournaments, and the community would then use those restrooms as well. So at times, these little girls were using restrooms that were filthy, right? Grown men were using, and I always feel, having 4 daughters myself, that there should be a separation, and we should take care of them. And that was when we were approached back then. I was like, yeah, I'm all for it. Let's do it. And it worked out great. It was a lot of fun. It took us a long time, but that's what happens with volunteer labor. So I discussed this with Mayor Nava, and I said, I would love to, see it break under his mayorship. And if you, 4 of you, give me the privilege, I get to become mayor, cut the ribbon during my year and start up another one.
Let's do it, brother.
So I'm
going to stop you and correct you real quick,
ahead.
because you said that the restroom project was not, and you worked on that, and you were instrumental in that, and you said like it was not as significant. It was absolutely significant, and that was a lot of your hard work and some other people there, but you were working really, really, really hard on that project, and the final result is amazing. So give yourself some credit.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. And so, any suggestions? I mean, I'd love to hear it. Anything on the language and the?
Yeah, no, I like the idea. We talked about, and I've been approached as well about maybe revitalizing the tennis courts in that area. Maybe stripe it to use them as pickleball courts too. I know tennis players don't necessarily want to see that, but we also have to serve the public, and so those are the things that we have to be aware of as well. But the tennis courts are in terrible shape, and I know that's something that we worked on, and Rachel's been working on, and I think there is some funding available to make some improvements there. But anything that we can work on as a community, I think would be really great. That park has seen so many improvements over the course of time, from the fields to, remember when the shrubs were there for so long. Those were the original restrooms. You know what I mean? And so and it was awful.
Took me a minute.
They were awful, and like drug use there and everything else. And so that cleared that out, and it's just it's changed, and it's improved. So that's all good stuff. And that park gets heavy use. For the fields. So anything. There's Pat Williams. And it doesn't have to just be a park. It could be anything else.
It could be anything.
But those are things that are where I think you could get people to contribute their time, energy. I will. Anything that you have in mind.
So the language is the actual page number on the agenda.
35?
35. Thank you for that, Ship taking. And so there it is. It's just as simple as that. I mean, we can appoint as many members as we want or change it. I've asked several folks, and I think, maybe just a little help in recruiting these folks. I think that we can fill it here soon. And perhaps, like I said, I'd love to see a project break ground during your time as mayor, and then whoever is next in line, whoever the next mayor is, obviously cut the ribbon on that. So I would really like to see that, and with your permission and your approval, I think we can move forward. What's the next step, Bill?
So the question is, do you want to have a committee that's appointed by the council? Or do you want to have a committee that forms itself and then liaisons with the city? And the difference would be, if it's appointed by the council, it would have a Brown Act. If it's a grassroots committee that wants to enter into an agreement with the city, then it makes its own rules.
Mm-hmm.
But either way is fine with me. You just give me direction, and we'll get the proper resolution.
When we did the business advisory committee years back, there was participation, but it's like, I think once you start appointing, in my opinion, if you appoint, it's like it's a different level of involvement, and if it's grassroots and it's like their idea. There's also a different level of involvement. You know what I mean? It's like, it's, sometimes, I like just getting things done. So, sometimes when you formalize things too much, it just makes it a little bit more challenging.
One of the things we did in Calipatria, there was a similar idea. And when I mentioned Brown Act, everybody go, which is, I understand. But that doesn't mean you a committee can't have an MOU with the city that says, hey, we're gonna participate in projects, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and we expect some support. And if there's a group of folks that want to form that and they need help putting together an MOU, we can easily do that.
Well, here are a couple of concerns of mine. Is one, it's going to be, they will be accessing city funds, obviously not directly. The city will spend on behalf of this group. And so once the community brings forward projects that might be considered by this committee, we absolutely want the protection of the Brown Act. We want folks to...
If you think that's better, then what I do is make a resolution establishing such a committee and bring it on your next agenda saying, here, we'll have however many members, 5, 7 members. Usually you want an odd number, and then solicit applications.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Do we require a motion for this?
No, that sounds like the direction, so we'll get it done.
The only thing I'm totally good with that, just looking at me. And then we also stepped up, I think, and kind of clarified in our policy on how we can also take donations. And we've had some great projects, around town. So I think this does give a little more of a formal body for us to, continue to corral and encourage that. And it just makes sense. I think in some ways we do it anyways, but this really takes it up another notch, and I laud our Mayor Pro Tem for really wanting to take the lead on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job. But I would, if I were you, and I'm not you, but if I were you, I would probably set the first project. That way it's already, you know what I mean? Just set the first project, whatever you have in mind. It's your idea. So set it. That way you can get people that are supportive of it, and it can get off the ground. You know what I mean? Whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be set today, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
Just our PD, it's a different thing, I know, with the foundation that's recently launched, but again, another, has sort of a similar mission in terms of leveraging our community members, our strengths, and those folks that are willing to, come forward and put time, resources, whatever the case may be. So I think there's some potential collaboration also of some, newly launched bodies. So it's exciting. So, I just want to make that comment.
And the other thing is, too, it can be fluid. And you find out that one model seems to be preferred, then we change it.
Yeah.
But at least this way I have an idea where to go. So we'll get a resolution together right away.
Yeah, I think it could work. There are certainly other park projects. It could be. I've been talking about the barracks at the fire department, and that's just not pointing a finger at anything. Just saying those are projects that perhaps we haven't been able to allocate the money for. But look, we can do this, and I just think it would work. I just think it would work. You'd get community buy-in. Everyone would have a vested interest, right? And so I think it worked last time. We can do it again.
Yeah.
And I know we'll be out there swinging a hammer as well. So
it'll work. I would just say, call the project whatever it is. You know what I mean, and then just tackle it, and you get it done.
Just do it.
So all right. Cool. All right. Any questions from council?
No. So resolution next meeting. Get that.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Thank you.
All right. Well, good luck, my friend. I know you're going to do a good job. So.
Thanks. I got the full message. I heard it loud and clear there.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Well, you pick it. Otherwise,
yeah.
if you throw the ball around too much, you're gonna get 50 ideas.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Just pick one, even if it's a small project. Get it done, and boom, there's the first one, and then you can start to gain more input on other projects. But just get something done so it's accomplished, and you move on. All right. So next item is 5B, discussion potential action to adopt resolution 2023, which will establish a protocol for council members to add items to council meeting agendas, presented by William Smearin, City Attorney.
So Mayor Pro Tem Castro gave direction last time that we ought to take a look at the council handbook, norms and procedures, and we did. And this resolution would add some structure to how things are added to the agenda. Where a council member, there would be a deadline, so there's time to get back up, and then a council member would get one other council member to essentially second the idea of putting something on there. Just one other, so that we don't have a serial meeting or something like that. And then finally, we put in, it was suggested we add something that the mayor get with the city manager before the agenda is posted to check it for time. Yeah, because it, I can, in bad old days in Calipatria where meetings went to 2 a.m., things just didn't get done. People got too tired.
Yeah.
So that's the purpose of the resolution.
All right. Any questions or comments on this topic?
Yeah, no, I think this is great. I think this tightens up, gets a fresh set of eyes. Before, I think we were playing with fire with, getting it blind on that Friday. And so I know it's customary across all boards. I know on the school board, it was for the president. So I love this. I think this is really great, and I'll motion to approve.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Motion second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. All right, the next item is discussion potential action to award contract to Layfield USA Corporation for project number 2021-14, WTP raw water storage ponds liner replacement. Contract amount $1,298,721 with an authorized 10% contingency of $129,872.10 for a total of $1,428,593.10. Further authorize the city manager to execute all documentation concerning this project presented by Ron Medina, Director of Public Works, Operations, and Maintenance. Mr. Medina, how are you?
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, and the general public. Agenda item 5C1. The City of Brawley placed this project out to bid on April 7th and on April 25th. Also received the two bids on May 16th. One from Layfield USA Corporation in the amount of $1,298,721, and the second bid received from Cora Constructors in the amount of $900,000. The pond liner project includes the raw water line replacement for two ponds that have seen its current liner reach its useful life expectancy of 23 years. After review of bids submitted by Cora Contractors, they requested to withdraw their bid as they realized an error in their estimation. The withdrawal request is within the project bid specification requirements and timeline. Upon completion of the review of both bids submitted, it is recommended to award the contract to Layfield USA Corporation in the amount of $1,298,721. A staff report is provided in your packet with fiscal supporting information. Included is the bid results and a letter requesting withdrawal under Section 5103 of the Public Contract Code. Any questions?
None. I mean, I've driven past there many, many times. We've worked on this for a long time, and I know the liner itself, you don't have to be an expert just to look at it and say it needs replacement, so it's been in the works for a long time. Is there a motion to approve this item?
It's in the budget.
So moved. A motion to approve this item.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is again by Director of Public Works and Operations and Maintenance, Mr. Ron Medina, and it's a discussion potential action to approve amendment number 1 of STC Traffic, Inc. Contract amendment increase of $4,127.50 for changes to the Caltrans application submitted for preparation of local roadway safety plan to the Highway Safety Improvement Program, HSIP, Cycle 11. Further authorize the city manager to execute all documentation concerning this agreement. Is there a motion to approve this item?
I'll motion to approve this item.
There's a motion to approve. I'll second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Next item is, thank you very much. Next item is regular business E, discussion potential action to approve agreement with Priest Development Corporation for construction of offsite improvements presented by Bill Smearden, City Attorney. William Smearden.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council's aware that the downturn in the economy has caused a lot of the developers out there to complain about conditions of approval of subdivisions that were imposed way back in the early 2000s. That we've negotiated with the folks that are developing Victoria Ranch. This will this proposed agreement will make sure that we can get the most important improvements the city wants done, and we've given a little on some of the others.
Okay.
The Wildcat being one of the most important.
And you reviewed it, city attorney has reviewed it?
I pretty much wrote it.
He
You
actually
wrote it, okay.
yeah. We do have
From
Travis
the-
Lyons, with representative up there, if there's any questions.
He's not gonna say anything until, I could see.
Just here to answer any questions if you guys have. Thanks.
Is there a motion to approve this item?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis.
Good luck. Next item is 5F, discussion of potential action to approve California Consulting Grant Writing Contract Extension presented by Thomas Garcia, Assistant to the City Manager.
Good evening, Mayor.
I don't
Council
even know where you came from. I was like, I looked down for a second and then you popped up. I don't, that was smooth. Yeah, that was very quiet, you know? All right, go for it, brother.
Yes, as you know, this is a straightforward item, which you have the supporting document for. It's for the renewal of the contract for one of our consultants on the grant writing. This is for a per grant contract, so the payments is only when they're working on a grant for us, and you know the complexity of writing grants and finding grants, so very important aspect, and so we would ask for the renewal of this.
Thank you. All right. Is there a motion to approve this item?
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, the next one? Yes, of course.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Nava, Mayor Pro Tem Castro, and Council and Management. My name is Jaisal Mendoza. I'm a District Representative for the Office of Senator Steve Padilla. I appreciate you giving me a couple of minutes. I'll be very brief. Just touching base, going through your agenda, knowing that you guys are searching for grants and different opportunities. I would love to connect with you guys. There are tons of grant opportunities, not only for different programs within the community, but also funding to assist you guys to apply for grants and to be able to sustain those grant writers, just because we know that it is very, very important. At the same time, I wanted to take advantage very quickly, and my apologies for showing up slightly late, just to let you all know that I will be covering your city and your constituents. I don't know if you are all aware, but Mario has moved on and is with the city of El Centro, and so briefly wanted to take advantage of that time to introduce myself and just remind you guys that we are here to help and support in any way possible. So please keep us in mind. I'll make sure to drop off some information, and I'd love to sit down, chat with you guys, and explore some of those opportunities.
Well, thank you very
Of
much.
course.
It's great to see you, and we appreciate your visit here and introduction.
Of
And
course.
look forward to working with you and sharing your knowledge with the rest of the staff. So thank you.
Likewise, thank you.
Good
Excuse
seeing
me.
you. Thank you. All right. So next item on the agenda is 5G, discussion to designate City of Brawley voting delegate up to 2 alternates. And this is part of the mayoral appointments. It's Councilmember Wharton and then Councilmember Castro.
Is the alternative. Alternative. However, I do not believe Councilmember Wharton is going to be able to make.
Right.
Be attending.
And Councilmember Castro will be, so you will be the voting member. All right, that's easy enough.
Castro vote.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
So that, he's already designated by that appointment. Okay. And the reason, I think there was some confusion. The confusion was the thought that I was the voting member.
That was all done by the Dome City Manager. You got it.
Okay.
But we still have to turn in the form.
Right,
with
yes.
the actual,
Yeah, actual, yeah, 'cause
no, that was
right. It does.
I would love to blame that on Tommy, but I went and checked the emails.
Right.
And he was right.
Right, and I had texted you and let you know, but I don't want to bring that up, and I just did. Okay, all right. So,
but thank you for pointing it out.
But I appreciate that you were diligent in that. All right. Next item is item H. Discussion potential action to no. It's just he's already the designee. Discussion and potential action to amend August-September City Council meeting schedules in respect to upcoming League of California Cities annual conference, holiday and staff schedules presented by Tyler Salcido. And this has to do with we have gone in the past. We've gone dark in August, meaning we don't have council meetings in August. This last year, we changed it up a bit where we had the first meeting in August not the second meeting in August, and not the first meeting in September. Am I correct? And so this year's a little bit different because three of us will be at the League of California Cities annual conference. So
On the 19th,
On
at
the
our
19th.
scheduled meeting, we will not have a quorum.
we won't have a quorum. All right, so let's look at our schedules and let's see what we're going to do here. So we would still have the first meeting in August. That would be August 1st, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And so we wouldn't necessarily have another meeting in August.
Is that a question?
Well, I mean, that's essentially still going dark in August.
Yeah.
You know?
15th but staff has suggested maybe moving the 19th to a different, maybe the week before on a Tuesday to get that.
But why don't we just have the meeting on the 5th?
Right after the Labor Day?
Because look, I mean, because it's still going to be a long 5 weeks right there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
We can do that.
And then we just continue
Council's
as normal.
direction.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, last year we took a break in August, right?
Well, I mean, we're only doing that one meeting in August. That's the first. If we keep the first, then,
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Pretty much as a break, yeah.
We have to meet in August?
Well,
Usually, yeah.
there is, because that would at least give us that one meeting there. And because if we don't, then we would essentially, well, I mean, we could.
What's it? It's a 5 Tuesday month.
Yeah, it's a 5 Tuesday month. That's why it's a long month. Is there anything pressing for the first?
We have, depending on what comes out of tonight, we do have some contracts, projects that need to be put in front of council.
We could have Mr. Castro's resolution by then easily.
And there's some projects potentially we would need approval on.
I would say, if everybody's in favor of that, just let's continue with that first meeting in August. That's a Tuesday. And then we don't meet again until the 5th of September. That would be
Been with the holiday, that's all those weeks to get ready for
And the
5th.
19th.
And the 19th, that's right, because of that's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what you would be foregoing. So in lieu of an entire month, we're spreading it out over 2 months to accommodate League for those that are attending League, which is most of who's up here. And then we're still keeping kind of a monthly meeting so we can take care of business. And
So
then-
what? Yeah.
Is that what we're proposing?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm clear on the August. The September, the challenge is the 19th because we're out. So what do you propose?
Just
there?
the 5th.
Just have the 5th meeting?
That was my proposal. For staff proposal was skip the 5th and maybe meet on the week of the 12th.
That works.
1 week and
That works.
that works. Tuesday the 12th, and that would cover the 1 week, and that would.
All right.
But the 5th will work too.
Is everybody in favor of that?
12? Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
with that.
Let's do with that. So
There'll be a special meeting on the 12th.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And August 1st.
Correct. Yes.
August 1st.
Because that's still the Tuesday.
12.
Yeah.
That would be a regular meeting.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. All right, this next item is, that was the addendum. This item was requested at the last minute, and it was requested by LAFCO. I got a call from one of their administrative assistants, and it was a letter. It was an appointment to LAFCO Advisory Panel on Countywide Healthcare District, and so they wrote it to me, and they wanted a mayoral appointment on for a person that could participate in conversations. It's an advisory panel, so they don't really have any voting authority or anything other than just provide input. And they've been asked to consider forming a countywide healthcare. LAFCO has been asked to consider forming a countywide healthcare district, and this is just to provide input into that, that process. So they asked for a member to be appointed by the mayor, and it doesn't have to be a council member, but I considered Donnie only because he has a tremendous amount of experience in the local healthcare arena, and quite honestly throughout the country. So and he's worked with both ECRMC and Pioneers. So naturally, and I've said it before, whenever it comes to healthcare items, I defer to Donnie. So anyway, because it's last minute and because we are going to be going dark, I don't know how soon this group wants to meet. I asked Bill if we could address this sooner than later. That way we're not without somebody, right? And he put that resolution together. So my appointment would be for Councilmember Wharton to participate, and he has expressed interest, and we would need to take a vote on that for it to take place. It's a mayoral appointment, but just like all mayoral appointments, they have to be considered by council. So that was the reasoning behind it, and that is it was a request from LAFCO for that, and I needed to appoint a member from the public, or in this case, Councilmember Wharton. So that is where we're at. Let me see the resolution, if I have it here. And it's just a resolution with City Council of the City of Brawley appointing member to LAFCO Advisory Committee regarding countywide healthcare district. And I'll make the motion to approve that resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, no, I think this is great. I think Councilmember Wharton is the one to go with your experience, especially with there's so much discussion going on 918. And I guess, Mr. Wharton, Councilmember Wharton, with your experience as the mayor shared, could you share with me you don't have to, but just your thoughts on this with your experience and, being in the field of this whole countywide healthcare district and the bill in itself. Could you share with me your thoughts? I know I'd really appreciate it and respect it as well.
And I'm gonna give you a little help here too.
Okay.
Councilmember Wharton has worked with, and this is just the reason, my thought process too, and he can go off because he doesn't like to brag about himself, but I'll brag about him. He's nationally recognized. He's a vice president with the largest air ambulance company in the world, and so it's a company of about 38,000 employees. He's near the top there, and he's been in that industry for over a decade. He's worked with dozens and dozens of healthcare districts across the country and forming partnerships along with county governments, and he serves an important role. And so, and more importantly, he's worked with the local hospitals. So that's a little bit about him.
I don't want to try to put you on the spot. I know the public.
No, fair enough. And I figured I would. This is kind of all happening fast, as we know. Again, very dynamic situation that we're faced with here in Imperial County. Just the nutshell is there is no easy answer, no easy solution to any of this. And I think if there's any one of us that thinks we can unpack even what 918 is proposing, including the recent amendments that we're still catching up to and reading, right, as a public as well as vested local officials, I can tell you right now, anybody that's going to get directly involved in this is just going to be a monumental lift. Mm-hmm. And those were actually some of the words I used when I did meet with the representative, Assemblymember Garcia, about the topic. And so just very humbly, I'll say moving forward, all I propose to do is be as good an astute listener and researcher and bring back any and all qualified information that we can bring back to this council so that as we continue down the road, this is going to be a valley-wide endeavor, no doubt. There's multiple interests involved, whether you want to look at it north versus south, Brawley versus the existing hospitals, obviously, El Centro, the Heffernan District. So I think, principally speaking, we all want to see this happen. We all want to see this with the most positive outcome. I think really the devil's going to be in a lot of details that are yet to even be answered. There's more questions than answers, and it's my intention to do everything I can. And I want to be clear, one thing, folks, I'm not a healthcare administrator per se, but I've been heavily involved in the pre-hospital environment, which overlaps very much into the same business. We take care of the same patients by transporting those patients, whether they're critical, whether they're non-critical or non-emergent. And all of these hospitals that we have and caregivers in Imperial County are important. We have to have them all. And so I think this is about going in very agnostically and looking out for the interests of the valley, right? And making sure that we're not doing unintended damage to standing existing systems that are already in place. So complex, I know. I hope, maybe a lot of that is still vague and ambiguous as some of these topics still are. But it's my intention to learn more and hopefully be of service both to the council and to the city of Brawley and to the county.
Well, there's a motion Second?
A second.
Yeah, motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. And we're just lucky enough to have an expert within this group, so it could have been any member of the public, so congratulations. I know you're going to represent well, so. And the city of Brawley and its residents are in good hands with this guy there, so good for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right. And if we could inform LAFCO of that, please. Will do. Yeah, thank you. And so we're going to move on. Informational reports, building permits, and monthly staffing report are there for your viewing pleasure. We'll go on to city council member reports. We'll start with council member Hamby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quickly, I was honored to be able to attend the Branding Iron event at Stockman's, and also honored to offer the invocation for that event. And at the last minute, they asked me to sing the national anthem, and so
did a great job.
I brought my guitar. That's not something that you just jump at and do. It's a very nerve-wracking song to sing in front of people.
Absolutely.
So I asked everybody to sing along with me, and that took away some of the nerves. But exactly.
You did a great job.
It was a nice event, and I enjoyed sitting at the table with some of my fellow council members and other city staff. Tyler was my +1, I guess, that night. But I also had some contact with some community members, business owners, about some concerns with homeless activity, breaking and entering and damaging buildings. And I contacted Chief Duran at the police department, and I just really appreciate the swift response and the contact with the business owners. It may not solve the problem immediately, but it goes a long ways to helping our residents and our business owners feel like that the city cares about the problems that they're facing as well, and we all are dealing with the same issues. But I just wanted to thank Chief Duran out loud here tonight. So that's it for my report.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Revelar, please.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the long, the month between meetings. Last meeting was a doozy. So, but it did give me time to, reflect. I did come into this seat, all gas, no brakes, and I don't intend to let up, but I know I can be better. For all the noise I make over here, the one thing I don't want to be is a distraction to administration and staff. And you guys are here in the day in, day out, and the moment I become a barrier, hindrance, or at least obstacle, I got to check myself to once again be better. I can be guilty of falling to what Alexander Hamilton called unqualified complacence to every sudden breeze of passion or every transient impulse. I see an issue and I want to jump at it, and I got to slow it down now. And I can get better at that. Now, regarding my outreach and engagement through social media and other means, I like to show all of Brawley, not just the good or the bad, but the real. I want to show the real Brawley, our imperfections and all. That's what makes our community beautiful. I'm not here to be liked. Being liked is easy. Just say the things people want to hear, avoid hot button issues, but I'm here to be trusted, and being trusted takes time and work. And if I broke that trust from anyone within our staff, please let me know. You don't have to tell other council members, you can tell me, and I won't get offended. And as confident as I am, I'm also self-aware of improvement I can make, not just personally, but serving in this role on the council. I'm not going to apologize, but I can only vow to try, to do, and be better. And communication is a two-way street. You don't have to just communicate me to share with me on my deficiencies, but also how I can use my platform to promote the city and what the work's being done. But I do want to address a few things that were levied against me at the previous council meeting. I was told I don't engage or communicate with my fellow council members. We were all elected based on our own unique backgrounds, upbringings, visions, perspectives, and most importantly, autonomy to discuss, debate, and ultimately vote on items pertaining to the current state and future of our city. Nowhere does that require communication and engagement beyond these meetings. Now, out of courtesy and respect, should communication and engagement be conducted among us outside these meetings? Yes. Have I done so? No. It will happen as we found mutual ground and common understanding on issues to improve the quality of life of our residents and employees. The communication and engagement will be organic and fruitful, and it will happen. I was also told to tone it down. I don't necessarily think I need to tone it down, but definitely slow it down. And that too will come naturally as time progresses and I find my rhythm. I'll figure it out. I can't keep this pace for my own sanity and effectiveness. I was also told that council members come and go. Listen, I came and I will definitely go. I have no intention of having a political career. I think everyone but me seems to be more excited of my potential political prospects just because I make it look fun and good, but that doesn't necessarily mean I want this as a career. I take things day at a time and listen, whether this seat or this life, I'm not here for a long time, I'm here for a good time, and I want to make the most of this 4 years that I'm on here, and we will work together to get things done. I say these things also because I do want to be effective and help see some of my ideas come to fruition, as ultimately I am just one vote. And one vote without two means I am essentially powerless, just a young man with a camera and a voice. If my role is relegated to simply bring attention to the issues and have you four and administration figure out the solutions, that's a symbiotic relation that I think can be effective. I trust you. You're all intelligent, hardworking, and leaders, and we'll get things done. Like the noise that, Councilmember Warren and Mayor Pro Tem had that meeting, and there's still work to be done, but I think there was some progress made. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried. Neither should the public. Debates, disagreements are natural among four individuals on a council, and I do believe that our political system of governance, of checks and balances, allows for stability and progress no matter what. So, topics at hand. I think it's important for public agencies to tell their story. I know we had a policy just put forward. One thing that agencies are doing is establish social media presence. You see, especially when it comes to law enforcement, there's been recent happenings, and I've been complicit in some of them. I'm not culpable at the very least. But I think it even shows more the need of virtual presence within our community from not just police department, but also different departments. So I guess this question is twofold. Does a policy pertaining to our police department, whether social media or not, have to be agendized and voted by this council? So a social media policy for a pathway for our police department or any department to establish a social media presence. Would that have to be agendized and voted on by this council?
Yeah, we have a social media policy that was adopted by this council, so it would have to probably be amended. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I guess can we have that agendized to be amended to allow perhaps, and this is not going to force any department to establish, at the very least, have a pathway if and when an opportunity were to establish a social media page to better inform the community, to have that opportunity. Can we get that agendized? I know we need 2 votes for an agenda item.
We could, but there is, the issue with social media, that the reason it's so sensitive is because in the past we've had where multiple council members react to certain things, and then there's essentially Brown Act issues that we have to deal with, and we're not really that equipped to monitor and police that. So that's why we did form that policy, and I don't know the specifics of it, but we certainly could. I mean, I'd support having it back on the agenda.
Yeah, I see because
for discussion at the very least. And
I see sheriffs have a distinct, unique social media page, and as well as Customs and Border Patrol, and I think it's a really great opportunity to show face, to engage with the community, not just, to humanize the badge, as they say, but also to inform. There's been some recent incidences where I know we're looking at the Face City page or we're waiting on things. And I think, especially with our PD, when certain incidents occur, it gives them more control and autonomy on, informing the public on what's happening to, protect and serve our community.
So, as a matter of fact, I'm having to dust off our old policy because Calipatria just established its own Facebook page without a policy, which is a really bad idea. So I'm getting one together adapting ours for theirs. So while I'm doing that, we can take a look at ours and we can bring it back. Sure.
Cool. All right. And I do want to congratulate the Brawley Little League organization and minor league all-stars. Not only did they become district division champs, but they hosted a tournament, and they actually did the impossible. They brought people from San Diego to the Valley in the summer. And so I think that usually it's opposite, right? And so once again, I'd hope to agendize this. If I can get a second to my request, I can draft a resolution to recognize the team and their efforts. Do I have a second council member to entertain that?
Yeah, I'll entertain it. That sounds like a good, something that's worthwhile, should be recognized.
Cool. And finally, last few months we've lost several pillars of the community. Recently, Debbie Cameron, whose sons I grew up with, Josefina Valadez, one of Brawley's few remaining centenarians, both with the deep loving Brawley family, and recently Richard Rubio, who was father of our city's former Parks and Rec director. All three of these families represented Brawley in their own distinct ways, set roots that will reverberate for generations. And my condolences go out to all the families who lost a patriarch and matriarch. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Councilmember Wharton.
Mr. Mayor, I was going to hold on to the next meeting, but I do want to put also a heartfelt, not just for myself, but really on behalf of the city, some additional tragedies that have happened. But our condolences also to the Cameron family for Debbie Cameron, and it just as mentioned, I know in the Hadagi family also, Norma, who also served as our mayor, many of us up here served with her, are also grieving and have a loss, and then most recent, the Lily White family also, their daughter. It's just really been a very, very tough summer, tough month, and not the kind of news that we normally even talk about even up here, but I think it's so important, all the names that were mentioned by Councilmember Revelar, as well as what I just added, is just so many pillars of our community that many of us knew, and if you didn't, I know their impacts were felt. So may God be with them, and our prayers and our deepest sympathies. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll try to keep it brief. Yeah, look, there's been a lot of calls, a lot of messages, a lot of texts, and everybody wants to believe that Brawley's becoming the new Calexico, and it's not. It's not. My time on council, the very beginning, it was a controversial vote, right, where we disagreed, and we're not always going to agree. But I learned very quickly, and I actually, prior to that I needed to work with all the council, and I needed to count to 3. And in an effort to prevent what happened, I think last meeting, I asked for this item that just came on, and we didn't discuss so much on. And I wanted to make sure, for example, the budget was a big item for us. And I wanted to make sure that we focused on very important items such as the budget, which is what we're here for mostly, right? And so that's no disrespect to you, Councilman Revelar. I commend your energy and your willingness to find issues. But at the same time, we have a business to run, and we have very, very important issues. Not that those others don't matter. They could somewhere else. To me, there are more important social issues, and different issues could be, right? And so my focus is different, yet my focus and the work that I do as an advocate, as an activist, because I have quite a streak as an activist, I try to keep my colleagues out of that loop, because their ideas, their beliefs, and their sentiments aren't necessarily, well, mine are. And I respect everyone in that same form. I try to convince those that what I'm saying is probably the right thing to do or say or stand behind. And if it's not, I respect them anyways. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Tweak it up a little. And it's not just, it could be me, it could be Councilmember Hamby, just get crazy one day and come up with all these ideas overnight.
That's his first meeting.
His first meeting. And stuff like that could happen. And so I've been bouncing some ideas around. I know I did something last year that didn't necessarily work out, because then I was stepping on Chief's toes trying to create the safe pathways to schools and all that. Councilmember Warren got together behind the scenes. We discussed different items, and we realized very quickly that was already happening. I wanted to make it a policy, but it's already happening. So I didn't want to, and I was stepping on somebody's toes and didn't realize it until we brought it up here. But anyways, that's the reason behind that. And so I encourage you to continue to, work on behalf of the community. Don't stop. We're here to support you. We're not here to, hammer you down. And I think last time I was just really upset over some of the things on social media and the light that I'm painted in when we all know the things that we actually do outside of here are far more different than those little clips that you see on Facebook or, Instagram. Anyways, my report is, a few months ago, I requested permission to use my stipend as a city council member to give out scholarships to high school graduating high school seniors that are going into the construction trades. Our city attorney said that it was my money to do as I please. So, and it's not much, but it's still right. I just want to make sure that we were doing things right, and when I'm discussing that I'm not getting the city in any type of legal trouble. And so we issued three young men, and the only requirement that I had on that was that they had either enrolled, were either selected and approved for an apprenticeship, enrolled in a trade school, or actually already working in the trades as maybe, and like in my case as an electrician, as a trainee, you enroll through the state, you take your own classes, and you go work for a contractor. If that was the case, they just needed to call me, and I would deliver the $500. And so I want to congratulate this young man, Damian Abarca, who is now going over to lineman school. He has no idea, I think, even how much work is ahead of him and how much money he's going to make rebuilding our electrical grid. And those who aren't familiar, the linemen refer to us regular electricians as narrowbacks. Those are the big guys up there putting up the big the power lines. So he's on his way to do that. I think he's leaving in a couple of weeks. I want to congratulate him. I'm still waiting on two of the young men to come forward and hit me up, and we'll give them their money as well. So, it's always a pleasure to see these young men and women go in there. I'll see them again in 5-6 years. Over the last, I think, 12, 13 years that I've been bringing people into the trades, I've seen the progress from when they're like working at Domino's Pizza or at the gym or something, and they're kind of barely getting by, and then I see them driving their new trucks and buying their houses, and they're buying investment properties, and and so it makes me real happy and that's what it's about. Somebody did that for me many, many years ago, and it's just pushing it forward and just helping others when they might not know. It's just simple ignorance and not knowing that the opportunities are out there. And so that's what I hope to accomplish, and hope to see this young man in 10 years buying some property, through our mayor here. So.
There you go, right? Yeah.
or my wife.
Right.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all very much for being out here. And, following along with some of the comments made here tonight with respect to the city council members' reports out, I agree. Let's work together. I'm looking forward to a hard reset for everybody, and let's work together. We've all been through different cycles of different council members. Sometimes we're the problem, sometimes we're not. Sometimes it's other people. And sometimes, we're not getting along. But quite honestly, I don't want to be any other council but Brawley. I love Brawley. I represent Brawley. We all do. And we represent every single person who resides in Brawley. Doesn't matter if they voted for us. Doesn't matter if they didn't. Doesn't matter if whatever. We represent them all. So let's make an effort, not just the effort, but let's make a commitment. How about that? Let's make a commitment to work together, communicate with one another, share thoughts, share ideas, and I'm very convinced that working together, we're gonna accomplish more. I can say this from my experience. The times where council has been most productive is when people are getting along, and you're agreeing on things because it's for the betterment of the community. And your egos and your attitudes are aside of that. And so that is when progress is made. I want to be there for Brawley, and I think we're making that progress. A few little bumps in the road. And just like any new council member, myself included, we're all of us, we're all disruptive when we start. So there's no exception to Mr. Revelar. We've all been there. I've been there. I did the same thing, and so maybe not quite to the extent no, I'm kidding. But no, I'm kidding. But we're all different. We all bring a different element. And I remember the pushback I got when I first started. And there was no training ground. There was no how-to book. You're just kind of put in it, Council is not one of those positions to where you're hired, you're elected. That's very different, There's no IQ test. There's no emotional intelligence test. There's no anything. Mm-hmm. It's like whoever hands out the most lollipops wins. It's just like ASB president. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. And so you get a mixed bag. Sometimes you get council members, they come on board, and they all of a sudden they're engineers and they're architects and they're public works directors and they're police chiefs because they think they know it all. And then there's others that really will consume energy and effort and intelligence from the group and really shine. I do have to say this too. In working with the longest time here with Councilmember Wharton, when he first got started here, he was appointed to the Brawley City Council. Ryan Kelly had left to the county. He was appointed. And if there's one thing about Donnie that I've always appreciated is that he absorbs information. Mm-hmm. And I've offered this to every council member that's come through here. It's like, nobody taught me anything, so I would try to show them, like, hey, I'll take you to different departments. I'll show you who the points of contact. I'll show you how they treat wastewater, how they treat the water, how, we'll go with the police chief, we'll go with the fire chief, we'll go visit the sites that you represent. We'll go look at the parks with the parks director, and Donnie did take me up on that. And I can tell you he was able to learn a lot faster because of it. So working together, I think, quite honestly, it helps. It helps because there's also that experience that comes with time, and so you may know some things that others don't. And at any rate, we can go on all night, but looking forward to a hard reset. Everybody, let's be on our best behavior. Let's represent our community, and let's represent each other well. It's simple as that. So let's be cool. All right, my report. So I do want to ask staff to look into, and I've been asked this before, the potential for a stop sign of 3rd and K, and it's an odd place to put it, but we do have a lot of traffic in that area. We've had accidents there, and so 3rd and K, a lot of speeding cars through there. So, just if you guys can take a look at that, I would appreciate that very much. I also had a member of the community, Brian Floyd, he'd asked about, and who knows if the appetite of council or the public, but down Western, as you're going into the cemetery, he wanted to see if it's possible to maybe rename that stretch and call it Veterans Way. And line it up when veterans are being laid to rest, they would have markers on the ground where they could hang flags and, line it up and, that kind of thing. So just the thought, he had that idea, he wanted to present it, and I told him that I would get it on there. So anyway, just for consideration. The other item, I did ask city staff to take a look at, and I hate calling it the old Cook's Market because it discredits poor Cook's Market, but the building that was formerly Cook's Market, right? And that's next to Ace Hardware, and it's sat vacant there for many years now, and it is owned by an LLC. They've been trying to sell it in the past, and I don't know what, they haven't been successful, but it's become really a hotbed for, for vagrants, for homeless, for drug use, for people living out there. And so I did have city staff to include fire, PD, city manager. I think building went out there as well, right? Building went out there. Just to take a look to see what we can do to make sure that we're pressuring the property owner to take care of that mess. It's a hot mess out there, and so we need to make sure that we're holding them responsible, because what ends up happening is that the area begins to look terrible, and it does, and so we've had fires out there. We've had, people smashing windows, breaking in, doing a bunch of other stuff there too. So we just have to make sure that we're on top of those things. The other thing I'm going to ask staff, and I know it's hot, but I ask staff, and I do it myself, drive the city. Drive it. I've had a meeting where we've taken the ICTC bus around, and we went through all the stops on the Gold Line, but I asked all staff, city manager, city chief, police, fire, building official, everybody, parks, don't just visit your department, drive the city, and so we constantly are faced with a bunch of issues, and you can see where the issues are at. I drive the city often, so I start seeing things, and then I address them, I talk to our city manager, but I just ask all of staff, be vigilant, see it, report it, and we've got to work together to make sure we address the concerns, because it starts to look terrible, and so, and there's, of course, areas that look great, and the great improvements, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done for sure. So, and if it means writing, some firm letters from our legal department to make sure that people respond quickly, then let's do that, let's do that, because that's that's a good investment in making sure people react. So anyway, enough there. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I forgot to mention for a future meeting while we're here in obviously open session, some consideration maybe in a future meeting
Yes.
of our sponsorship or
Put
involvement
that
in
on the
911.
agenda.
911 Memorial
Yes.
Stair Club.
One quick question, for the stop sign, there a process for like if someone wants a stop sign, or they just bring it up here to?
No, there's a traffic safety committee
Okay.
that
Okay.
meets, and we look at data as far as is there been, what's the accidents rate been at the place. It's police, fire, admin, public works. That every time we get a request, we go through that process and make a recommendation to council.
Okay.
One of the things we have to make sure is that the street is our street.
Right.
State highways go through town too. So.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you.
And you don't put stop signs on state highways.
Yeah, right. And so that's my report. There's other items, but we've been here a long while. So thank you all very much for your patience tonight. Next item is city attorney report.
So there's, it was brought to the mayor's attention, there's a complaint about a housing authority unit.
Right.
And the city manager asked if there's a conflict. There's not a conflict because I'm general counsel for housing authority. We're taking care of that unit. Just want to make sure that council is aware of that. It's not all that it seems.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, and we're going to go into closed session, so I just want to thank everybody again for your participation and patience. Have a good one. Until next time.